dog is at home with no dog food.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry, still.
Anyway, you're not a good mom.
Yeah, not a good mom.
I know. I'm a new mom too with this, so I should know that.
How old is he?
5 months.
Oh.
Hi, Sherry. The meeting is starting in 30 seconds. I hope you're on your way.
What kind of said that?
All right, bye.
It's a lot.
Dutch Shepherd.
Calling the meeting to order.
Oh,
No, 30 seconds.
is she not coming?
She's leaving the house right now.
Nancy, I can't go tomorrow.
Why?
Because of the incident last night.
All those, okay. So, in front of you, you have the agenda. I think that we know each other, so there's no need for introductions. The agenda is in front of you. I did put on here under new business number 7 to discuss perhaps different times that might be better for
Thank you very much. Appreciate
some of us. And then we'll talk about the community conversation under 6E. So is there anything anyone would like to add to the agenda or change?
No.
If not, I'll call for its approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is approved. Kim has sent us the minutes. She sent them out individually to us last week before she left, and then I had Taylor print them today for us. In reading over them, I saw that Taylor was supposed to follow up on the peddler's permit process for something to do with the community engagement, the event, so I'm not sure if that was done. Also, Karen offered to post the event on Facebook and the township's website along with the silent auction. She was supposed to do that today. That was supposed to go up today. I might say I've looked at Facebook quite a bit today and I haven't seen it yet, so I hope it'll go up there tomorrow. Tickets, of course, we'll talk about that later. Does anyone have any corrections or additions to the minutes? I move for their approval. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Kim's been doing a good job. Is there anyone who would like to take minutes for Kim while she's absent? Or she said she would just pull them off the tape. I don't know if the tape is running.
Should be.
I don't know how you know. Is there a red light on there?
They said it's always on.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Can we go back?
No, I'll take notes. Treasurer's report. That would be Dennis. This is still the balance that you know of?
Yes, so far I have not been able to acquire the printouts that we.
Right. And the flower fund, I know Leo had a heart attack. Leo Gallagher had a heart attack.
I talked with him today.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I don't know what the balance is because I'm behind. So Leo needs flowers.
Well, I'm not sure he's home now, but I don't know. Do we know if anyone else has been ill?
Yeah. Then I have my list.
Okay.
But no. You were sick.
When?
You were in the hospital for a couple days.
Yeah, that's been quite a while.
Well, see, that's how far behind I am.
Oh, you don't have to be. 2 years ago, I was really. I remember that flowers. Oh my goodness.
So anyways, as you know, if you know of anyone who needs a little support,
I have a question.
can I just say that, let me just write it down, because I think confidentiality is the issue. This guy passed away. His wife always would get meals every day for them. He passed away about a week ago.
But we don't do anything for funerals.
I need to write it down.
I don't know.
I don't know where he's at.
We don't do anything for funerals.
Okay, just so you know. Oh, it's just I think dialysis. Often too tired.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay. So we're gonna catch up on the flower fund?
Well, where do I take Leo's?
To his house. He's there.
I don't know where his house is.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Okay.
You know where I live?
Well, we don't have to do that right now because we're on tape. Okay, public comment. Are there any public comment? No public comments. Old business. How are we doing, Marie? Do you know with COVID in the area? Are we pretty low?
That's a very good question, because when I look at it, we're doing okay. Others look at it, we're doing high, so I can't give you a good answer.
All right, Karen usually gives us an update, so we'll wait till next time. PR and outreach, that's Dana and Nancy and I. So have you moved up guest meal passes with Taylor? Has she gotten with you on that? We had a discussion with her about it.
I spoke with her about 3 weeks ago, and she said, get back with me, I haven't heard anything. Sounded like it wouldn't take too much, but I haven't heard anything back from her, so I don't know.
Right, do you want to follow up with her between now and the next time we have a meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
So you want to get on Excel and make one and send it to her and say, hey, this works?
Oh,
She suggested that that they look like the meal passes. You know, we have meal pass punch cards. And Taylor suggested we already have that design for the meal cards, for the punch cards. And her feeling was that she could take that same design and make it into a meal ticket very easily, and that it would be not a
She
problem.
could just take all but one punch off it.
Well, wouldn't necessarily have to have
Could do that,
numbers on
too.
it, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Just take,
That'd be
delete,
simple.
delete, and have it already. Okay, I think she should do that.
Well-
Okay.
yeah, I don't know why she hasn't. I mean, we've been talking about it since last December. All right.
No comment.
No,
I don't know, Dana, if they keep track of those, though.
could you speak up a little bit?
I don't know if they keep track of those.
Keep track of it.
So maybe
What do they not keep track of?
the punch cards.
Well,
They're held in the office, and if you come in and use your punch card, Linda just looks you up alphabetically.
Right, but if we give a free meal ticket, should it be a different color? Should it be something that, if it's turned in, this was free, this was not paid for?
well, Linda would know that.
It'll have to say, it'll say on there.
It'll say on
Guest
there.
meal ticket.
Okay, so you're talking about a different card rather than
Oh, for
a
sure.
regular punch card?
All I'm
Right.
saying is that she
Yes.
already has a design that says Bass Senior Center.
Right,
All we need to do is take,
Okay.
change a few minor changes.
You know, and one of the people I wanted to give one to has started coming.
Yay.
So,
Oh,
I can't get her one.
Okay.
I can't reach out.
nice.
She's come on her own, which I think is lovely. She's a very nice person.
You apparently reached out in your own.
Oh, this is a different person. Oh, great.
Yeah, that's even a different person. I hadn't really thought about that one, but the one that's just 2 doors down from me, I've been wanting to make sure that she got there. All of a sudden, she appeared. She's now joining us.
there were
Fantastic.
two new people at our table yesterday, and I think they'll start coming.
Was one of them a tall gentleman?
Yeah, it was she and her brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah, those two, right. I saw them come in, yeah. We've had so many new people. It's really nice to see new people. And one day, Marie can attest to this, I mean, there wasn't a seat in the house. It was
full.
It was full, yeah.
What was on the menu?
They did about 96 meals yesterday, takeouts. They did 32 takeouts, so they were really busy. So I would imagine they did close to 100 meals yesterday.
That's why we need to expand though, because you take the number of people that started to come, even with that building being an 85 person capacity, with the table arrangement that we have, you're not going to get very many people in there, that many people in there at the tables.
You're right.
No, yeah,
I agree.
we have outgrown the building at lunchtime.
And the weather is getting better,
Right.
so
And we do have
people are
some
getting
members who
out.
are coming back too. Yep. People are glad to get out, like you were saying, yeah.
All these new people, I'm just amazed at how many new people that are coming.
Yes.
Maybe the word is finally getting out.
Right, right. Services and activities, I know that Jenna has brought in quite a few new activities. I thought yesterday was good at lunch. She did an activity, a Valentine's activity before lunch. There were about 9 people who went to that, maybe 11, those women that all took their pictures at the end. And The ladies enjoyed it, that's for sure. And she's having someone come in next month to appraise antiques. She's bringing an antique appraiser in kind of like a little roadshow. No, that's not what it's called. Antique roadshow. So people are being encouraged to bring in a small item that she would
One
appraise.
item, not necessarily small, but one item.
I'm gonna bring something in.
You do?
I wanna take something too, but
It's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What day is it?
I think it's the 17th of March.
Oh, March, yeah.
Am I small enough?
What's that?
Am I small enough?
Yeah, you're an antique, huh?
Yes.
I don't think the appraiser can go that high.
Let's see. The 27th of this month, we have an impersonator coming in and singing.
Yes. It's the same gentleman that was done the Presley show.
Yes.
He's gonna call the crooner.
And he's doing several different voices.
I'm not sure what he's doing, but his program's called the crooner.
And when is that?
That's the 27th.
Oh,
That's a meatloaf day.
This
We'll
month.
have a
February. Be a nice crowd there.
Yep.
I know that a lot of people turned in suggestions for menu items. Mary was asking for that, and she was really happy to get those. So, can you give the event report, what's happening with the Dolly and Kenny Rogers report? Or Jean, can you do
Jean
that?
probably could do a better job. She
You
had
were
a meeting
you were at the
yesterday.
most recent meeting, Jean, right? Were you at a meeting yesterday
No,
on the silent auction?
Oh, you weren't? I
no.
was told you were gonna be there.
You weren't there either?
No.
Did they have a meeting on the silent auction yesterday? Ben, were you there?
No,
I don't know.
I don't know any meeting yet.
I got an email from her that said she needed to change it.
From Cindy Crump?
Yeah.
Oh, then maybe
I
it
think
was.
she changed, but I haven't gotten any information.
No, then maybe it wasn't yesterday. So I know the tickets are printed,
Yeah,
right? And the flyers and posters are ready.
right.
The
I scanned the letter and the flyer and into a PDF. And so I sent those to
Him?
Kronk,
Oh, Cindy. Okay.
Cindy. And so I have them now to send to the two people I need to send them to. I
Okay.
was very pleased with myself that I did it.
So there has been a letter created, which is now a PDF. So
Right.
if you know anyone who you want to reach out to make a contribution to the silent auction, we have the letter, it's on
If you want
letterhead.
to do it on the internet, I can send you the PDF.
Please,
I have both of these.
please.
Okay.
And then Ben, you have about 10 flyers to pass out, right? And we can write together. You did about 5, didn't you do 5?
I did one.
I'm not all done. I took two out to the Legion in Langsburg. There's one in the bar area and one upstairs where we play euchre every Wednesday. And then I got
Tuesday.
one down here too. Well, no, there's one there, there were two. That's got one there. That's a, just,
So you're distributing some
yeah,
in Lexford,
yes, and also down here.
right? And you're going to do the Legion in Bath,
I already did.
right? Oh, you did, good, good. And
So,
tickets go on sale on April 1st.
No,
March
March 1st.
I'm sorry, March 1st? March 1st. And they could buy tickets in the office. They're prepared with the book. And they could buy tickets at the senior center. We have a quote for tickets and sales there. I know I'm doing sales at the senior center the first week of March. And then Kim has a schedule,
I signed that.
yeah, for us to each kind of take a week at the senior center to sell tickets if we can. And she's got the weeks all laid out. I took that first week of March. Do you remember which one you're in?
Yeah, I do.
So anyway, we're still looking for people to sell.
okay, has anyone had lessons on how to record this in the book?
I'm doing the last week in March.
The last time, doing the first week. The book was the book explained to you, Jean?
Yes. What was Nancy's question?
If the book was explained to us about how to sell the tickets and how to record who bought the tickets and where the money goes and stuff like that. All right, so,
I do have a question, Judy, because I was going to pick up the gift card from here to start buying water at Myers. And I know there was an email from Karen saying she needed information to fill out a request for donation. And I told Kim, we don't need to do that because Karen has already said there are 3 gift cards here. We don't need to ask for another gift card. So,
I'm wondering if she's talking about something related to the silent auction.
no. She has 3 gift cards.
I know that.
And one of them, I think, is about $100, and what I need to purchase is going to be less than that. So,
When I've used
are either one of them here that I could ask for that gift card today?
Karen or Taylor,
Yeah.
Marissa said.
I don't know, are they both here? Yeah, they're both here.
All right, I will do that after the meeting.
Right, right. And I know when I've used one of those gift cards, if I didn't use the total amount, I just bring the remaining card, the card back with the
Yeah, I
remaining.
want to go to Myers probably 3 or 4 times.
Right.
I went one time and their pallet was full of those little dolls. Another time they didn't have any. And I want to be able to get them probably in 3 or 4 trips to get them into my house.
Yeah, you have to be able to carry them. You just keep the
So I will
receipts.
keep the receipts and.
Put the card, and when you're done, give the card back
Right.
if there's any
I will.
left.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was doing the community conversation, I was reaching out to media, community calendars and things like that, and thought that the township could perhaps help me with identifying community calendars that they were used to using and that they had a contact person for. Well, the township doesn't do any contact with the media. If they want to get something in the journal, they just use an email address for the journal, which is called legal documents. So they just use it for their meeting minutes and CBA announcements, ordinance changes that they have to have posted. So they don't do any community events. So they weren't able to give me any information on how to contact the media. So I did some research and I found and talked to some people, and I found about 10 places that would be really helpful for us to have the concert in for promotional reasons. Some of them are community calendars. You go to the site and you go under a community calendar, and then you create the event under that community calendar. So I'm going to type this up while Kim's gone, and we'll do kind of an outreach through the media. Like the Lansing Economic Development Partnership has an events calendar, but if you go to the Greater Lansing Visitor Conventions Bureau website, lansing.org, they have a community calendar, and you put it on that community calendar, and it links to other community calendars around the region, like Chamber of Commerce in Charlotte, and then the East Lansing Town, it's not called the Town Courier anymore, but the East Lansing Parks Recreation Department has a community calendar. So it goes through the Greater Lansing Convention and Visitors Bureau to a whole network of other event calendars around the region. So I've put this together. I haven't typed it up yet, but I'll get it typed up before Kim comes back. And Pictionary, kids. Yes. So we're going to work on that a little bit. I thought maybe Jenna could do this for us because it would be something that she could do that would identify media outlets that she could use in the future for events. But I haven't been able to get to the administration to find out if it's all right for me to ask Jenna if she would be able to do that for us. So they were able to get the sound system from the performers, I believe, so the sound is coming with the performers, so that should be going along really well.
Is it gonna cost us $500?
Yes. Yes, that's right. Because they have their own sound equipment, and if it fails, it's their fault, not ours.
So if they, and a person to operate.
Yeah. They're bringing an operator too. Okay. All right, so, does anybody have anything else they want to add about the conversation? Ben, you've been at some of those meetings. Have I missed anything? You've been at some of the meetings about the event. Have I missed anything important?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, when Kim comes back on February 24th, I believe there's a meeting of the committee. Is that right, Jean? The MC is going to be there?
Supposedly, yes. I think we're going to have a scheduled meeting just before our meeting here, I believe.
But this one is different. This is like the 24th of February or something.
I don't know.
The day I'm supposed to return?
24th at 12:30. Yeah, event meeting, 12:30, the 24th. That's what I heard down, so that's all I can say about that. No one else has anything to add to the event? All right. Community conversation.
Well, just to let people know, I do have the business plan. I turned that in just a few minutes ago, so we will go to Karen.
That meeting, excuse me, Judy, there isn't a meeting on the 24th. There's a meeting on the 1st, March 1st at 1 o'clock.
Is that with the MC?
I don't know.
March 1st at 1 o'clock?
So if there's one the 24th, I'm not aware of it.
And maybe it's just a different part of the event. 1 o'clock, did you say?
Yes,
And where is that meeting?
here.
In my notes, I do have a meeting on the 24th, and we will be meeting with the MC.
Right, that's what I have.
Yep, you have that in there.
I'm supposed to write the MC's remarks, so that's why I know about that meeting, I guess. All right, so the conversation. Have you all had a chance to read the report?
It's the same on the 24th? Yes.
I just want to reiterate what he found from the conversation to be the catalytic recommendation. The first one is physical space. These are on page 9. And there's a report up there. We don't have one, and we just want to look at one while we're going through this quickly. So, the first one is physical space. The second one is staffing and responsibilities. The third one is social connections. The fourth one is collaboration. The fifth one is communication. The sixth one is food. The seventh, private space. The eighth, transportation. And the ninth, ambiance. At this point, there are so many amazing recommendations in the conversation that came out of the conversation that I don't really feel like we can, as a group or a board, resolve or move forward on any of this unless the whole team's at the table, which includes the center director, the coordinator, Karen, Taylor. Again, the most catalytic recommendation is that of space. So I have asked Karen to put on the agenda a discussion with the board the next time they meet, which is the 21st of February, about the conversation. Doak did present his report at the last board meeting, and I'm going to ask them to move forward to hire an architect. They asked us to have the conversation. We asked them for an architect. They asked us for a conversation. They said after the conversation, they would get the architect. We've had the conversation. Let's get the architect. So we really can't move forward on much of this without knowing anything about the space. We need to know more about the space. We need to know more about the parking. So even though there's a lot to delve into in the conversation and the result of the conversation, I am going to recommend that the first thing that we do, based on the results of the conversation, is focus on the physical space. So one, I've asked for that to be on the agenda on the 21st. And secondly, after the conversation, Doak emailed to say he was really pleased to be able to help us with this, but he noticed during the conversation there were some topics which would be difficult, more difficult to discuss without a facilitated process. That it would be difficult for us to be successful, for us to have a successful conversation unless, we had some help with that conversation. And he sent us several topics, which he would be happy to facilitate for us. So on Thursday this week, it's very difficult to get time with Karen. This is a monthly scheduled meeting that, we're having with her today, and she's not here. And I understand circumstances get in the way, and I'm not faulting anyone for that. But Karen has set aside some time on Thursday at 11:30 to talk with us about next steps. This was at my instigation. I asked her if we could have a meeting to talk about next steps. I asked her if we could have the meeting before this meeting, and she just doesn't really have the time. But on Thursday, she said she would have some time for us, and she's booked the conference room over here, so anyone who would like to come to that conversation at 11:30 on Thursday with Karen to talk about next steps is more than welcome.
Is Doak going to be there?
No, we will talk about whether or not we want Doak to come in and facilitate a conversation. These are the topics that Doak suggested would be difficult topics to have to talk about together without a facilitator.
Okay.
The history of the center, its hours, and how they come to change and why. So I know, Sherry, you're quite interested in that topic. The history of the center hours, how they've changed and why. So the next thing he suggested that might be difficult for us without a facilitator is staffing the kitchen. How was it in the past? How is it now? And what is it going to need to look like in the future? And as a part of that, he suggests we must look at, and I agree with him, the lunch program and how many meals we're serving now, on-site and off-site, and how the meal program has grown in the past 3 years. So, another one he suggested that we might have a facilitated conversation around is, what is actually the focus of the Senior Services Advisory Board? Is it mostly on the center, or is it on senior services in a broader sense? And when I looked through all of the history after the conversation of my engagement with the Senior Services Advisory Board, the Township, and the Senior Center, I felt always that our purpose was to support the work of the Senior Center. The director was always at the table with us, the cook was always at the table with us, we were always talking about events and activities that we could do together, what issues were they having trouble with that they didn't know how to reach out to whoever they needed a collaborator with, could we help them make network connections? But we were a team, we were always a team. And I understood our focus then. We were a team, we were always together. Every month we would sit down together with the directors and we would get reports. We would know how many people had come to lunch, how many people had been in the senior center and had meals, how many people had come to bingo. Every week every month we would get weekly reports. We get no information. Since COVID and since the opening of the senior center, reopening of the senior center, I've not seen one piece of information, not one data point. And when I raised that with Karen last week, she said, well, that's right. She said, and I probably won't be able to get to that. I asked her for all the data from last year, 2022. It was our first full year of opening since COVID. It's a great benchmark for us. You can compare last year's data to the year before we closed because of COVID, and you get a real good picture of what's going on. And she said, well, she might be able to get that to me by the end of March. So, without data, it's difficult to even press to move too much forward. I think evidence from anyone who comes to the senior center for a meal. It's quite clear that we're bursting at the seams. I invited all of the trustees to lunch on Monday. Marie and Sherry came. They held Steve Bushwasher's retirement party at the same time, so none of the other trustees were able to come. I cannot be at lunch on Wednesday, but I will be there on Friday, and I reached out to a few trustees to ask them to come to lunch on Friday. They're going to talk about the senior center on the 21st of February as a board. And I don't believe any of them, with the exception of Sherry and Marie, have been in there in 2022. Maybe Alan was in there once.
What time is the board meeting?
It's at 6 o'clock.
On Tuesday?
On the 21st.
A Tuesday?
Yes, because Monday is a holiday.
Okay,
Yeah.
the 21st.
And I don't think they have a right to speak about, even whether or not we need an architect without coming in and seeing the situations.
One of my questions was, like, why can't we do meals 5 days a week? The answer I got was very vague, that they closed down Tuesdays and Thursdays because nobody came. And this was the year before COVID closed everything down. How the hell do we know what's going to happen now?
We have no
We
idea.
don't.
We have no idea.
And then the secondary thing I ran into was, well, they want all this stuff, where are they going to get the money? But
Oh, what stuff? Oh, hours open.
hours opening and et cetera, and I'm like, well, if we don't look into it, we don't know the answers to that. How many people are going to come? And no, we don't want to open Tuesday and Thursday because when it was open, there wasn't enough people to pay for the help. But
Well,
it's
without
still-
programs, without activities, without services, you're not going to have people there. If you're open on Tuesday and Thursday, it doesn't. Sherry understands why, and Maria's done it as well, the value of the senior center. And Sherry and I have been talking about this, and Sherry, you can speak for yourself, but she wants to know why we aren't open 5 days a week. I mean, the building is there, the opportunity is there. The community voice said they want more open hours, they want more participation, they want more socialization. So Sherry's question upon reading the report and being in there is, why can't we be open 5 days a week? And I explained to her that there are a lot of issues around all of this. And that if that's really what she, as our trustee on this committee, wants to know, then what we need to know is what that would cost. If we were open 5 days a week, 8 to 5 every day, and we had a staff person in there all the time, and we were doing meals 5 days a week, what would it cost? So at least do a projection.
Have we done
I
a
can't-
questionnaire?
I cannot get answers.
We had a conversation.
I'm sorry, what was that? I can't get information of who's paid for how many hours, I got this gross breakdown of, this is what we paid for staff, this is what we paid for food, and I have been unable yet to get the details that we would need to put down on this table and talk about.
Right.
And that's what I feel like I'm running my head against the wall. I don't know if I don't know, that's, so I don't know what I can do, but I'm gonna get a little ticked pretty soon.
So let's just take these one, we're happy that you're here,
Oh, yeah.
and that you're asking the questions, and we know that that's important. So I just want to get everyone on the conversation table.
What?
You and Rita.
Oh, the things that we're talking about here are things that we've been told to mind our own business on. The history and the change and stuff, it's Karen. I'm just telling you, we've been told to mind our own business. The staffing is a Karen decision. The budget is a Karen decision. Activities is a,
Excuse me, Karen works for the board. Sorry,
Supposed to.
I've been not interrupting you.
She's supposed to.
Well, I don't
And that's why I am so frustrated. And then she tells us in that big meeting that we have other responsibilities besides the senior center, and I never heard that before.
No. For me, our job, the way I see this board, is our job is to support the senior center. It's the senior center's responsibility to do the outreach, to do all of that work.
Activities,
But she
programs.
She told us that we have other things to worry about besides the senior center. What, like the Parks and Recs,
Do
everybody.
we have a definition of this board's
Yes, we did.
responsibilities?
Yes, we did. We have a,
We,
objective and all that good stuff going. We had.
we do, we have a strategic plan which has been approved by the Board of Trustees, cleared by them and supported by them, which is why we went for the architect, because the last goal is expansion and looking at expansion.
I'm
And-
sorry, but we're not even open, what we have is before that.
Give this to
I think that our first step should be getting the senior center open 5 days a week, not necessarily serving meals on Tuesday and Thursday.
Or not,
Once we've
yeah.
got it established, open, people coming for activities and stuff, then we can think about maybe having food.
Right.
But if we can just get it open 5 days a week, I think that would be our start.
Two things. One, your cooks have to go cooking, or shopping for food. Two, what activities? I mean, we weren't gonna shut down on activities.
Paid activities, but not
Hey,
every one.
everyone, yeah, so.
They had an activity yesterday that was the same time as other activities. So it's like those of us that were playing cards, and there were,
2 tables.
9 of us, yeah, 3 tables, 9 of us, we couldn't do this activity, you know, so it wasn't scheduled after lunch. I asked and asked and asked when the movie is gonna be, the popcorn movie. We've been told that, she said, the last time I told, she says to find a date, I said, pick a date, pick a date.
Yeah, when are you available?
Yeah.
Well,
But we close at 2 o'clock,
Why?
you know.
Because you have to keep it open when there's not a cook, just to keep the doors open. It's the same heat, the same electricity, the same air conditioning. What do we need? Who needs to be there paid?
Jenna's getting paid.
But why?
No,
Does she have-
But the center is open from 10 to 2 on Monday and Wednesday, and 10 to 3 on Friday. So the question that Sherry was asking is, how many hours are we paying people to be there? And whether or not we're paying them to work 40 hours a week, and what is the difference in cost?
I can't seem to find it out. How much does that cost per hour?
back in the day, she could work up to 36 hours, but that's back in the day.
Yeah, that was
now-
I
But-
thought
but-
Jenna
but-
was working 25 hours a week. But she works on Tuesdays from home. I don't
Who
know if she
does?
does from home.
Who does?
Jenna.
Why can't I find it? So-
It says on the thing, why can't you find it out?
It says on what the...
All right, well, we're getting,
They-
Anyways,
off site.
Karen made out a whole new explanation, a whole new list of duties for that person over there. She threw out the old one and made a whole new one all herself.
Oh, I haven't
She
seen
said
that.
it's her own agenda.
Yeah, because when Dan was here, we would develop those position descriptions together. And we've served as a team to help them support that. Again, this is a really important, this is a great example of why we should have a facilitated conversation. Right.
Okay,
So
their
we
cost-
stopped at the focus of the
Can I mention
Senior
one other
Services
thing?
Advisory Board.
Can I mention one more thing? She also said the fact, she brought this up in one of the meetings about allowing those of us who have already been approved as drivers for the van and such, that you have to be an employee of the township.
She changed that.
What?
No, go ahead.
Well,
No, I mean,
yeah, that's a change she
that's a
made.
change, right.
Technically, each one of us is an employee. We get paid on a W-2. In your IRS's eyes, we are employees. So there's no reason why we should not be able to
Absolutely.
drive those vehicles.
Good job, Dennis.
Board, everything, paid for.
Good job,
But
Dennis.
that's a facilitated discussion. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, these are hard things to talk about. Another thing he said is about, that we should talk about what collaboration means. I think that's down the road. So I would think the most important would be the history of the center hours, about the kitchen and the meals program, and then the focus of the board. If he facilitated a conversation between the administration, the senior center, and us, that those would be the most important topics. Would I have any agreement with that?
Is there a charge for him to do this?
No, he's going to do it for free.
Wow.
I am total agreement, and those are the only, I've been thinking about it since I talked to you.
Yeah.
Those are the only things that we have big problems with. I have had big problems.
Right. Right.
And it's only gonna make me angry and get no answer, so I'll go, but I'll have to have a zipper.
So in this next steps with Karen meeting on Thursday, I'm going to suggest that Doug be brought in and to facilitate these three conversations
Right.
between us. And I just want your agreement. I want to be moving forward together as a group. Do you agree, Dennis?
I think we do need an observer or someone who can keep us all in check. Because you can't have it just us against, sorry, Karen and
Right.
we do need a mediator.
Right.
Definitely
Okay.
need a
But
mediator.
we're still running into a roadblock.
Yeah, we are.
That,
No, if we could go to the board. We could.
We
go to
work for the Board of Trustees.
Huh?
We work for the Board of Trustees
Karen works for the Board of Trustees.
as well.
But
And
we
so
could
that's a
go to the
vote.
board and say, we're up against a brick wall, what do you suggest?
Right, we could.
Where you at, Carol? What are you thinking? I feel a division of the Board of Trustees. I'm a newbie. I've been quiet, watching and listening and feeling what's going on in there. And there seems to be a division. And I feel like I run up against a brick wall. I say, why can't we do this? Oh, because blah, blah, blah. And just for an example of another issue that you can look at that's not this piece, as I said, for us to call the hot distribution plant has to have the word flora instead of cannabis. So I brought that up at the board meeting and was told very clearly, we'll get sued because it'll take 8 months to change that name, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, what are we talking about here? This is the board, they can decide whatever they want, however they want. And it was like, brick wall. And I don't think a cannabis shop, personally, should be called, whether you hate it or love it, should be called a flower shop. Grandma's gonna go in there and buy flowers. But that's the brick wall I ran into as a trustee, as a new trustee. So there seems to be, and this is just my opinion, as divisionary, that I was trying, been for a week trying to get, what are we paid for, what do we pay the cook per hour, for how many hours? What do we pay, so that I can look at it and say, what does it cost us to stay open more? Have I been able to get that? No.
Well, you remember back in the day when Dan was here, we would look at the budget, he would say, Cindy Piccolo, the number of hours that he was paying for her, how much every hour, how much he was paying per hour, and then what the total was. We had a breakdown for every staff person. Before, while they were doing the budget breakout and they were doing the work sessions, after the work sessions were done and the budget was passed, what he gave us was the senior center budget for the year. It didn't give us the breakdown of staff. It said staff $66,000, but we knew how that $66,000 was built.
Yep.
We knew effort.
Who could work up to this many hours
Right.
in that budget?
Now, can you get that today? I couldn't.
No.
That's how the budget is developed. It is in.
Right, somewhere.
It is somewhere. I mean, Marie, when you worked through the budget in 2022 for 2023, did the worksheets, were they detailed enough to tell you how much people were making?
They're never detailed enough for me.
How many hours they were working?
I couldn't find it.
No, it's in one lump.
Well, some, because that's the most I could get in the budget.
I'm not even sure how many employees we have.
Well,
No, it's not in there.
No, it's not. And that's,
Karen knows how many hours that the cooks can work, and the
I'm sure she does, I don't.
I bet you she does, so.
She
Yeah,
does.
but she
Yeah,
won't
she
tell us.
won't tell me.
Yeah.
Well, she works for you.
Yeah,
Right.
and I can't get it.
Isn't that supposed to be public record?
Maybe not that detailed, I don't know.
Maybe not.
Is that public record the details, or is it just a gross figure that's public record? I mean,
But there has to be a detailed report to come up with the gross.
I would love to see it.
It has to be.
Well, that's how, when the budget was developed, it was developed by looking at how many hours we're gonna pay someone to work at this position at this pay level.
Right.
I mean, that's how the budget is developed. It doesn't just come out with personnel
Gross,
costs,
yeah.
$66,000.
Right.
And it used to be that sometimes I would work, or Nancy would work 4 or 5 hours too many this week, but we were skipping on the next 2 weeks because we had something special going on. It's just,
So, yeah, the numbers are there, we just have to figure out how to get them.
They are there for sure.
Oh, yeah. That's how the budget was
Somewhere they
built.
are, yeah.
That's how the budget was built.
And
I mean,
the meals,
This was the last,
the meals has always covered the cost of food. It's always covered the cost of the food.
It has always covered the cost of the foods, but not the staff.
Not the staff.
That's what it was like when we were working, and separate and together and apart and all that. It covered the cost of the meals.
so,
Meals covered the cost of the food.
so the last time that we were given a position description to develop with the administration was 2019, and this was for 26 hours a week, Monday through Friday, except not Tuesdays, with occasional weekends and evenings for special events.
Yes.
Right.
There
And
it
it
is.
lists the duties and the functions and the responsibilities. Works with and supports all the activities of the Senior Services Advisory Board.
Yep. And
That's your job.
we used to do euchre once a month, and that's when we would work the
This is
weekend.
the coordinator's job at the Senior
Works with
Services.
us?
Yeah.
No way.
No, it's right here. It's right here.
Who is the coordinator?
Jenna,
Years ago.
Lee, who is the coordinator?
Jenna,
Okay.
And Jenna's never at our meetings.
Is that in 2019?
20, I think she's
No.
in here in 2019, that's what I'm trying to.
No, that's what I'm asking.
No, this was the position description that was developed to hire her
At what time, what year?
in 19. I mean, this was,
No, really?
yes, it was 7/30/2019. That's when this position description was developed. I guess it was the last coordinator before, which Laura,
So it goes, transfers on from the union. Yes.
with Laura.
That's right.
I mean, these are the kinds of reports that we would get every month.
Used to.
Yeah, there was a partnership between us and the township. We don't have to have that partnership right now, I don't think. Okay, so,
Dan wanted me to get back.
yeah, me too, we need that back, or it's not functioning. Thank you.
Board, by the way.
Okay, so, I'm sorry that this took so long, but thank you so much, it's not quite 4 o'clock yet. So, I want to just, so, I'm gonna, that's how I'm gonna move forward, okay?
so
Work to get physical space, and we're gonna meet with Karen on Thursday at 11:30 in the boardroom, and anybody can come who wants to come. We're gonna talk about next steps, including those 3 recommendations for facilitated conversations with Doak. And, we're going to the board on Tuesday night, to get the architect. That's the next step.
And it's my understanding then that the architect would make a recommendation on whether we add on to this building or we try and move to a different facility.
Go to a bigger location.
That would be the architect's recommendation.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely. And the township owns 57 pieces of land around the township. And there's lots of land available that they already own if he makes a recommendation to go bigger and better.
What I butted heads with was, they have all these great ideas, how are they gonna pay for it? That's what,
Well, we have a budget surplus of $4.6 million.
but that's what he said to me.
Well, that doesn't, you got the auditor's report.
Right?
Yeah.
You got the auditor's report at the end. Did you bring that with
we're
you?
gonna have to wait for the renovations, but not in the buildings.
What question is that?
Oh,
Joe, Jean, what was your question?
Aren't we working on a grant? And isn't that what the fundraiser is for and what our 32,000 is in our budget is for the expansion of the senior center? That could be moving it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But it's gonna cost more than that.
More than that. But to expand it, open more hours.
We're working on a grant also, right?
Yeah,
Once we,
And the grant will match, right?
right, we'll need matching money for the grant, right.
So if we raise $100,000, that's $200,000?
no, they'll give us 100. You make 100, we'll give you 100.
Oh,
That's
okay.
That's from the state.
That's
Basically,
building.
we're out of that.
That's from state.
This is, I mean, they're all, the match requirements are different depending on who you're applying to. The Capital Region Community Foundation is a 60-40 match, so they pay 60, you pay 40. So,
When we're running into a brick wall of opening 2 more days a week, this just, frankly blew me away, that there was even this brick wall was up for opening 2 more days. We don't have enough meals, we don't, it's not.
Well, you don't have, like Dennis said, we don't have to serve lunch. I can bring my own lunch if I want to be there for
Right.
5 till.
Bring your own lunch.
But how,
Yeah.
Do a potluck, I mean,
or experiment for 2 weeks. And experiment for 2 weeks and see if things haven't changed. This was pre-COVID statistics that are running on now. We don't know what things are going to be.
Who plans on being there? I plan on being there.
On the 17th. Thursday,
Yeah,
yeah.
after tomorrow. I
Yeah.
plan on there. Nancy, can you come or
I
not?
can come for a short period of time, but the car start at 1 o'clock, I gotta do it.
11:30. It starts at 11:30, so we won't go longer
Karen,
than an hour.
so I don't know anything
We'll be
about
done by 12:30, okay.
Karen, I think you can eat
Who else, Ben, do you want to come to that meeting?
Okay.
What about you, Sharon?
Coordinated with Kim on that.
And you haven't heard anything from anybody.
She's not.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just came in, what are you talking about? Thursday, this Thursday,
So, Jean, do you want to come to that Thursday meeting at
Yes.
11:30 with Karen?
I have a meeting at 1, but I can come for an hour.
Good. What about you, Dennis Jr., you're doing Texas?
That's probably on my blue card.
That's all
I
right.
put it on my calendar, I'll try
All
to
right.
make it if I can.
All right.
Well, is she gonna feel like we're,
Nope, she said bring everybody in.
okay.
New business. Discuss the different meeting times. Just quickly, yes. What is it?
This is the new,
Where did you get this?
let's just say, this is the new one that Karen laid out for this position of the coordinator, and you can see how much it has changed.
Assistant. When did you
Prepared by the superintendent, 3/12/2020.
This for me.
This apparently supersedes the one you have, Judy,
2020.
for 2019.
12 hours a week is all she's being paid for?
Approximately, yeah.
12 hours a week. So she's being paid to have the center open 12 hours a week.
No, actually, it would be 13 because she gets that hour on Friday. Bingo.
I mean,
No, as far as I'm,
And I think we pay her a lot more than that. I mean,
well, why would we if this is what we're supposed to be doing?
What are we paying her per hour? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
No.
No.
No. That's your business, not mine.
Apparently it's not mine either.
Okay.
how did you
It
get
should
this,
be.
Dennis? How did you get this, Dennis?
I'd just as soon not say.
You what?
I'd just as soon not say.
Oh, all right.
What I understand
But this is the official one that's in the records now.
from an old board member, I understand, this is from an old board, not old in age, but in the past, that the budget delineated, this is how many hours we pay a cook, and this is how much it is, and that was handed out to us as board members. Now, no. Now, that's from somebody that's not on the board anymore. But, because I said, I haven't been able to find those figures. This is more than what I had before. How many hours do we pay anybody? Cooks, servers, dishwashers, and how many hours do we pay to be there? I cannot so far access that.
Nancy and I work that place. We grew that center from 30, 40 people to 65 a day when we were there. Nancy and I worked in that kitchen before it got expanded, before the dishwasher, before we had a regular refrigerator, we had a regular stove, and we did that many meals. And we worked, Nancy and I did it all. We cooked, we cleaned, we were the director, we did all the games.
Expedition, the whole shebang, but at the same time, we had these big, what are those bins? No. Roasters, we were able to cook in those roasters at a time,
Yeah.
which was helpful.
But still, you can't get them up to numbers. I'm telling you that Nancy and I did everything that those 5 people over there are doing, and more,
And more.
and more.
I was there during the whole time these two were, and they did a lot of stuff.
And
A lot of
everybody,
activities.
and everybody liked us because we're like mutton chops here. Howdy, because,
They did, they went so well together.
you know, that's right. And that's why I have problems with the staffing. 5 people to do what Nancy and I used to do, and we worked hard.
Yeah, you
And
can.
we're old.
Really needed a dishwasher.
Yeah, and I don't have any problems with, I have problems with 5 staff over there, 3 or 4, but not 5, come on.
What's Jenna? 6?
What's that?
No, Jenna's this one.
She's a 5.
Yeah. But like I
Or
said,
is it Jenna that says there's a Linda that said?
because she's just sitting at her desk.
I know.
Oh, yeah. And what does she do?
Now, getting to that also.
Okay, we're being recorded and it's not our job,
No,
guys.
we don't have to do it.
Hold on.
Thank you, Dana.
Oh, not to mention, okay, we've requested name tags forever. And now my friend yesterday said, I wish we had name tags because I'd like to remember all these people's names. I said, we've asked for them, we can't seem to get them. She said, I'm gonna bring some. Well, she's taking it upon herself to provide name tags for us.
Somebody new?
Why? Yes. Why? It's like we have been asking for placemats,
Placemats.
paper placemats to dress this place up. Can't get those either. Why?
Because someone would have to put them on the tables and it's too much work.
And,
Any one of us.
We're on a
I thought about buying them myself.
We're on
But
a,
it's not up to me to
okay,
do that.
we're on new business.
we're on new business, we're talking about a different meeting time. Dana, 3 o'clock in the afternoon is difficult for you?
Well,
I love reading.
I don't mind the time, it's the day. Because we met, no days is gonna work for me, but Monday or Wednesday would be better.
3 o'clock?
Yeah, great point. Or we like, why can't it be, oh, it used to, oh, you like it.
We used to do
1
it.
o'clock, it was 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
is a good time.
It's just the day, because now people go to lunch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like we used to, then you gotta be here again on Tuesday. I just assume.
How about Wednesday at 1 o'clock? Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
That's fine
That
with
was
me.
great for me.
Wednesday at 1 o'clock?
And that's, I mean, we changed for Al. And
Right,
we no longer
he
do
never
that.
came. No, he didn't come.
It's good at 1.
Okay, so
So
this,
the third, the second,
I'm just looking at it. I think it's the 3rd.
The only thing on that is I'm gonna miss this, meeting with former classmates. That's the day they meet, once a month.
Once a month, they meet the 3rd Wednesday.
I think it's the second Wednesday.
Well, this is the 3rd. No, this is the 2nd. This is 2nd Wednesday. They would different Tuesday. So they meet the 2nd.
don't we have to have permission to change this? Because it's posted and people are
We just
registered.
change it.
We just change it
And
and
then
post
post
it.
it.
Yeah, change it and then post it.
So second Wednesday or
Change
third?
it.
It works for some people.
So
Why
we're,
not us?
right, so is it the 2nd Wednesday that's not working for you, Nancy?
The second Wednesday is the one that does not work for me, but I,
Could we do it on the 3rd Wednesday?
That would be after the, no, never mind.
3rd Wednesday. 3rd Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
great. Got this year, so, okay.
I would have done it.
All right, Marie, can you make note of that? There is a problem with the, so that would mean the next time we meet is the 3rd Wednesday of March, 1, 2, 3, March 16th at 1 o'clock.
15.
I'm sorry, 15th at 1 o'clock.
Let me check.
Is that when the tax assessors are in here? Is that when the tax assessors are in here?
I'm just gonna go see if it's available.
Okay. Do you have anything to report from the Board of Trustees? We always have a Board of Trustees member report, item 9.
I kind of have said what
All right.
Cooperation.
All right.
feeling that I have, yeah, because I've been.
Is there any other public comment? I'll call for the meeting.
So let's, you
Yeah.
can let us know about the meeting time.
Yeah.
So let's not adjourn until she comes.
We always have the senior center, and then we do have a boardroom if this room is busy.
Aren't these supposed to be recorded though? Or is
The
it
public art
required?
committee doesn't have their.
Is Taylor coming?
Taylor told me there was something that we couldn't do.
This Thursday, I wondered.
But if we were to meet on a Wednesday at 1 o'clock, it seems like Taylor would be able to be there because she's here.
Your meeting scheduled for March 14th can occur. The boardroom, the Board of Review takes precedence for that room. I would recommend rescheduling that meeting. Please provide some dates so we can let you know the availability of the
How about the first Wednesday?
public notice, the 14th of March. We couldn't meet in here. Maybe we can meet in here.
Or you guys can apply.
The third Wednesday at 1 o'clock is clear. So you're good here.
Good.
That's what I want to make sure.
Then I would just ask you, Marie, is the Board of Review meeting in here all week, March 14th, or they just meet one day? Okay, so March 15th at 1 o'clock here. Do you have any,
I'll let Taylor know so that she'll know to put it in wherever she puts it in. But I wanted to double check, and Jennifer went up until May, and she said probably she can see everything looks okay. So that's what I want to make sure.
so would you have anything that you would like to report to us from the Board of Trustees, Marie? She said she was done.
I think I sort of already know.
She expressed her frustration.
There's nothing wrong with that. Right, Dana? Say it.
What,
Is
you
that
know,
right, Nancy?
being on the naughty list?
I have one question.
Eugene would know that too.
Yes,
On the silent auction. I hate to bring this up, but what is the status of the basketball?
I don't know. Dennis, do you know?
No, I haven't been able to get information. I guess Kim and Karen have been talking about it. The last report, Kim said it is missing.
We had a basketball that,
Signed by Dennis. Izzo.
So we needed to reach out to get another one. I'm going to reach out to get one from.
Can I tell them about the incident?
That's fine with me.
I asked Marie to check the basement for us. She was denied access to the basement
By who?
by Karen. Karen denied access to the basement.
Seriously, I'm telling you.
our popcorn machine is down there too. If you,
Are you sure?
well, we were told. We want that back also.
Someone was at the senior center yesterday who used to make popcorn for bingo. And she was she's very old, very elderly woman. She was so excited to be back in the center and she wanted to know, where's the popcorn machine?
It's John's wife, I can't remember her name.
Well, let's ask for it. Let's ask for the popcorn machine back in the senior center.
When and where did this basketball disappear from? When, how? What?
We had a silent auction with our Elvis presentation, our Elvis impersonator 3 years ago.
Oh.
And an autographed basketball from Tom Izzo was donated to the silent auction. And it never made it to the gymnasium.
Oh, it never made it.
It was locked in the superintendent's office and we couldn't get to it because the building was locked up, so we couldn't get to it that night. It had been sitting around supposedly in the safe room, in the room where the safe is, the vault, I guess they call it. Supposedly it's been sitting in there this whole time. Last time Karen looked, she thought it was there. But when we talked about it at that meeting and she went to look for it, it was missing.
I think at this point, we just dropped. And I'm going to reach out to the contact person to get an autographed basketball from Susie Merchant. And I will find out who to reach out to get one from Congress.
Hang on to it.
Good.
They're not coming here, I'll tell you that.
I'm storing the stuff at my place for the auction.
I've got storage room if we need it too, lots of it, so.
All right, any other public comment? I'll call for the meeting to adjourn.
Call for the meeting to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. See you on Thursday. Okay. Oh, I'll make a public announcement. My house has come down.
The whole thing is in?
No, just the part that
Oh, okay.
has to be repaired and rebuilt. And the trees are coming down, they're probably started coming down now. And so all the trees on the lakeside are going to be off the property, so it'll be really nice. And then next week they'll start the excavation.
Awesome.
So I'm rebuilding my house now.
Well, that's not what a housewarming party is.
Yeah, I will. You might not see me before then.